Welcome back to Pivotal Change. I know you are enjoying every minute of what you're watching as we progress to this whole clean slate, the mindset, all of the things we're talking about today, moving into delegation. There's something that you can do as well. You can dedicate your time to going and looking up all of the Pivotal Change episodes and never missing a moment. But not just Pivotal Change, everything that the Now Media TV network offers. We have Roku, iOS, we have access to Amazon, we have YouTube channels, we have podcast versions of it. There's really no excuse not to invest in yourself in this new year, to go to nowmedia.tv and download the episodes, listen to the podcast, and really get the information on business, leadership, culture, political news. Everything you want is here on this network, bilingual English and Spanish. So do yourself a favor, get that into your favorites list and make that someplace you go to improve yourself this year. And continue along the path with improving yourself. We've been talking about the leadership and delegating. And I've talked to you a little bit about the process of delegating and getting into like the 333 and how you're going to sit here and think and ponder and you're going to get that list made out. I'm going to dive a little bit more into details, and I want to cycle back to the first of the 5 M's. Okay, that first of the 5 M's is mindset. So leaders, this is what you need to do right before you step off in this endeavor. You need to understand right up front that you are trying to build leadership capacity. You are trying to let go of things so that you have increased leadership capacity and therefore cultivate more leaders underneath you that can increase their capacity. So that is kind of your main goal in leadership. In doing this, you have to understand that delegation, assigning tasks and work to other people to do a good job, is not losing control. You're not losing control of your company. You're not losing control of the quality of the products or the services. Ultimately, the training comes down to you. So if they don't do a good job, whose fault is it that they were not trained, prepared, or capable when you delegated it over? Some of the rules in business I've heard, if somebody can do the job 70 to 80% as well as you can do it, go ahead and hand it off to them and coach and mentor that last 20% till they're doing it correct. And then you review and kick back for corrections, and then you review and you trust but verify until they can run off and they can have that complete set of responsibilities on their own. Again, always circling back with accountability and verification. Delegation also, when you do it correctly, multiplies leadership impact, which means you can now impact more people. You have more free time. You can show more care. You can do the special things necessary to increase this person's unique talent, increase that person's unique talent, address special issues that arise in the company instead of constantly pushing things to the back burner. And you increase and multiply your specific leadership impact, and then domino effect, they get to increase their leadership impact as well. Ultimately, what happens is leaders who do not delegate, either they don't know how or they refuse to, they eventually stall and they hit these breakpoints in their industry and they just can't seem to get through these various breakpoints. And that could be anything from $150,000 or $50 million, but you get broken and you get stalled at these breakpoints. You have to consistently work to improve, get out of your own way in various ways, and delegate. A really good way to do this, if you want to just start right now, week one of the new year, review your calendar and your task list, like I was talking about, on a weekly reflection. So as you put these processes in place, look back at your week and see if, hey, I left something off the list. Hey, I forgot that I have to do these follow-up phone calls for everybody because they're few and far between, but I'm the only person that can do them. I need to add that to the list. So review your calendar, review your list. Don't just do this a one-time process. Make it a living, breathing organism that gets grown and adjusted over time. And then make sure you write down every task you touch. That's so important. You're going to try to leave something out. I got to be honest with myself. Like, I'm going to try to cheat this list to prove to myself that I'm as good as a leader as I think I am. No, just write it down. Write down every task. And that visibility is going to drive improvement, especially if you have an accountability person looking at you. They're going to say, hey, you didn't write this on the list and you do this all the time. Yeah, shoot, I sure do. Here we go. Then that task evaluation we talked about, that's good. You have to be honest with yourself. Does it really, actually really require your authority or your expertise or your certification, or can you hand that off and just be the signator on something of that, the reviewer? Could it be trained? Could it be delegated? It should be a recurring thought in your mind, right? So that now becomes a rhythm of your thinking. Ooh, what can be trained into the next person or the new person? Ooh, what can be trained across the teams? Hey, what can be delegated literally from this division to that division? Because this division has bandwidth, but this division doesn't. What can be delegated across divisions? So can it be trained? Can it be delegated is now an echoing thought in your mind. And you got to highlight those delegation opportunities for your teams, for your people, and you got to teach them how to be delegated to properly. Like you have to define the outcome. Like I want you to do this exact process, this exact service, or build this exact item. So the defined process, think about the communications, the boundaries and expectations. You got to set those with your people. You have to set the deadlines, right? You have to establish a standard. Here's your expectations. Here's the boundaries. This is the realm we work inside. And then you push that off to them. So the people that you're giving it the delegation to, they deserve it to be delegated properly to them, right? And delegate responsibility, not just activity. So now they get some ownership. So if it's not done right, you're getting an opportunity for them to go learn and curb their learning into the right area. And possibly, hey, maybe you can incentivize some of this. Because if you delegate properly, you're creating bandwidth, you're creating efficiencies, and ultimately you become more effective in whatever business you're in, which absolutely should drive the bottom line. It should increase profits. So now you motivate through some incentivizing of these delegated roles, and people can literally sprint and take off with it. Identifying gaps is pretty huge because you can now do this exercise into your next level leaders, into your supervisors, your managers, into your teams, and you can ask them, let's identify some tasks, let's identify some training needs or hiring needs, and they're going to be right on top of it. So you can have them create some of the delegation platform for you, and everybody may say, hey, we do not have a person that specializes in this, so we're all kind of halfway putting in our talents to get this job done. But if we hired a marketing specialist that can literally just take this and run with it, man, that's a gap through the delegation process that you discovered from your people. Is really fantastic, and it absolutely reveals organizational weaknesses. We want to take those weaknesses, we want to develop them into standards, to regularity, and ultimately strengths. Find your vulnerabilities and cover them. This information, it's just crazy valuable. It's super valuable, and it needs to be uncovered. You have hidden gold, hidden gems, but you also have hidden cancer and toxicity in your company. And doing the delegation assessments discovers both of them. So what leaders get to keep? Okay, when you're delegating, you get to keep the vision. You are always the one driving the vision, getting people aligned to the vision. This is what the company is going to look like when we grow up, and we're going to rise ourselves. We're not going to be an 18-person accounting firm. We're going to be a 50-person accounting firm in 3 years or 5 years. And we're going to go from 5 million in revenue to 15 million in revenue. And we're going to expand from 20 states to 35 states where we have clients and impact. You're going to have accountability, right? Like, hey, we're all going to hold ourselves accountable first, but we're also going to have systems in place. Somebody can't slack off. Somebody can't just keep making the main mistakes. Somebody can't be tucking things under the rug. And you get these standards and you get this direction that people will ultimately be able to lean on and rise above. You also get to keep their culture. You get to keep being the one that drives the culture, drives the overall accountability of that culture. You get some advanced insight as well. Leaders should spend at least 80% of their time, 80%, on that high value of work. We're talking 30, 32, 34 hours in that range of the highest, most valuable work to companies. And I would say that some of the most highly valuable work is networking, relationship building, and system development. If you can get those things mastered and you're constantly tweaking the system, not changing for the sake of change, but changing for the sake of effective delivery, effective work product, efficient processes, you're going to be really valuable at the work you're doing as a leader, and constantly tweaking that vision so you know exactly where you can take that market. And if not, you should make delegation mandatory. Some of these assessments, some of these processes and the reviews. And you got to review delegation from the future. Once you kind of make these changes, and you make these shifts and you adjust them, every quarter is ideal. Every quarter, look back and say, hey, here's the list, here's the task sheet, what can we delegate? Put it as a part of your routine, bigger level staff meetings, right? So you should have staff meetings and team meetings and huddles and all that kind of stuff pretty regularly. And then your big time staff meetings, your big time board meetings and such like that should be quarterly. And then you got to have some serious leadership reviews at least twice a year. So I want you guys to understand this. Letting go is a leadership decision. And if you're not letting go, you are consciously making the choice to keep your company stifled, to keep your company bottlenecked and tight, with you being the bottleneck. Delegation ultimately develops future leaders. It develops you as the current leader. And this is how organizations truly scale and establish sustainability. So I want you to go out into your teams and go out into the world, and I want you to see the change, and I want you to be the change. And thank you for coming to another year of Pivotal Change. Go out there and catch us next time. We'll be back with more Pivotal Change and more business and life-changing opportunities for you next week.